What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Chris Eubank Jr. Chris Eubank Jr. states that he shouldn't be fighting Conor Benn, but this is personal, and this is what he also had to add. He said, the egg was meant to embarrass him. He said it was meant to make an example of him. It was meant to make sure that his cheating will never be forgotten. There are so many active fighters that have been caught cheating and are now still fighting, and no one says anything about it. I couldn't let that go or let that be the case with this man. I needed to make sure I did something so he would be remembered forever as the cheat that he is, and he would never be able to play it down, which is what they are trying to do. Oh, he's cleared. He spent $1 million on proving his innocence. No, he was cleared to fight, but cleared of having performance-enhancing drugs in his system, that's a very different thing. Conor is not cleared of being a cheat. Those are the words of Chris Eubank Jr. And let me counterpunch. I just think, it was very suspicious. It made Conor look bad. It made Eddie look probably worse than Conor, because Eddie, has been accused and been in similar situations like that before with not relaying all the information to the right parties. Okay, kind of keeping it hush-hush, right? And it shows a relationship with his fighter and what he's willing to do or not willing to do when it does come to certain fighters. So, I mean, to say the least, that's at least that. However, I think cheating, it shouldn't be tolerated, but unfortunately, it is. I remind everyone that cheaters are not always winners. Just because you cheat or just because you fight with drugs in your system doesn't guarantee you any type of victory. You still got to do the work. I think it's to get an edge, but do I think it's a be all and end all? I don't think that at all. It does look bad, though, because it was in his system twice, not just once, but twice in his system. And, and we still don't have any evidence of that happening. But rest assured, I think that made it more real between Conor and Chris, besides Nigel and Chris. You know what I mean? That first generation, rivalry before those guys came around. This makes these guys' rivalry real and authentic, okay? Because, Conor, in the mind of Chris, he tried to cheat Chris. Chris still wanted that bag, but he wanted to show Conor Benn, hey, you cheated me. I don't want people to forget that. And a lot of people try to overlook it. And Chris is not letting it down, but I mean, he was the one that was going to trade blows with Conor Benn with clomiphene in his system. It was him that was taking that risk, not anyone else. So you can't say, oh, well, he should get over it, because he was the one that was actually going to fight someone that tested positive. So you can't just really say, hey, Chris, get over it. So I understand Chris. And on top of that, it was another, he had to, it was the weight difference too. So he had to lose more weight. I think it was like 157, which is dangerous for a fight like Chris. And needless to say, he got beat by Liam Smith, if you guys can remember, and he came back and avenged that loss. But, maybe, just maybe, some of the same things could have happened had he fought Conor, or had that clomiphene went undetected. Okay, so it can happen. But I think the egg thing was pretty classic. I don't think Conor will ever forget that. I will say enough fighters have been tested positive for cheating, so it's not just Conor. You know what I mean? So in the grand scheme of things, sure, yeah, it was Chris Eubank Jr., but Conor Benn, you shouldn't forever look at a fighter as a drug cheat just because he got popped. And I think a lot of people pick and choose who they want to throw that jacket on. at times like that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like Jarrell Miller. Jarrell Miller's like the poster child of guys cheating. But, you know, Canelo Alvarez, Roy Jones Jr., Sugar Shane Mosley, Evander Holyfield. A lot of these fighters, though, are looked at as legends, not cheats. But they've all done what? Cheated. You know, so, you know, Chris Eubank Jr. wanting this to be stamped and revealed and showcased. I think he should worry more about taking Conor out, because Conor is now testing negative for those type of things. Okay, so because this fight should have happened in 2022. So he's absolutely right. It took a while for it to happen, and I'm glad it's happening. It is fight week. Stay tuned for the fight prediction, which is coming soon. You guys tell me what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.